sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
When some wild-eyed eight-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck, taps the back of your favorite head up against a barroom wall, he looks at Christy in the eye and he asks if you've paid your dues.
Inconceivable!
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
That is right, we are live.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That one right there?
That one right there, that's what I'm talking about.
I don't know what happened with it. Like, that was the original one we had. I don't know why it switched over on us to just the bass track.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it's back.
You told me not to ruin the opening sound for you.
Yeah, don't tell me. Because in my head, it's that scene from Cobra where they're clashing the axes above their heads. It's probably not. It's probably something way retarded. But I don't want to know.
Like I said, it's from another fandom. That's all I'll tell you.
Okay, that's fine.
You make me want to tell you.
No. No.
All right.
Is it stupid? Would I think it was stupid?
Probably.
Okay, then don't tell me. Don't spoil it.
All right. So it is Monday.
Yeah, we missed last week, but
the day after the major.
The end of that dragon show.
Sorry, your dragon show ended so stupid.
I was okay with it, but I haven't read the books.
Well, nobody has.
Let me put it this way.
At this point, nobody has.
I was okay with it because it was the perfect ending for this season. I haven't been a fan of this season, really. But, so as far as this season went, it was okay. There's not really much, like, wiggle room for how it could end anyway. Looking at the series as a whole, we could have saw more people die. Is that something everybody wanted to see? I don't know.
I don't know. Like it felt. If the opening hasn't told you anything, like with the title of the show, the description of the show.
Here come the spoilers.
Here come spoilers.
Yeah.
Yar, there be spoilers here.
Now after last, not the finale, but the sacking of. I still can't get away from. You still got to dial me up, don't you? After the sacking or the siege or whatever you want to call it of the burning of King's Landing,
right?
I sat back and I watched that. I'm like, okay, well, here's where all the action was, and then you have no real action.
But at least they did it in the daytime.
Yeah, I could see it. Then that's
it's not episode 3 where everybody was like, like to thank the dragon and Melisandre
and the moon
and the moon for lighting.
For the lighting, yeah. I don't know how you spend $15 million on an episode and it sucked that bad as far as lighting. But we found a way, and that's
we
cool.
have better lighting on our movies,
right?
than.
But I had some issues with the burning of King's Landing, but at the same time, I always maintain perspective that I don't feel sorry for these people. They're the same ones that rooted for Ned's execution.
Right.
So, man, it was funny to me that the character that has become the personification of death nobody that was with her got out alive. And then, the culmination of that, symbolism is
symbolism.
Yeah, at the end is, her getting on a pale horse. I thought that was neat.
Though, like, it starts off with her coming out not on the horse.
Yeah.
Like, she's wandering back again. Like, so, like, even the continuity between episodes.
Yeah, there's... continuity's been a problem this season.
You get major...
Rest in peace, Starbucks Cup.
But you get decimated in episode 3.
Yeah.
Then you march a massive army of people who were dead.
Well,
they go riding off, and then they come back running. Like, only a handful come back running. Like, oh my God! Like, they're no longer on horses, but yet they're all there, and they're on horses again.
You could kind of drive the truck through some of these holes and issues, but it's the suspension of belief or disbelief.
Disbelief. It's supposed to be the suspension of disbelief, but you have to follow logic, or else the suspension of belief or disbelief will not.
Yeah, I mean, you can't follow logic this season, and that's been my issue with the season as a whole. Like I say, I'm not an elitist when it comes to the first 7 seasons. You could tell were based on a book. Mm-mm. This season, they didn't have a book to go off of, so...
Well, last season they didn't either.
Oh, they didn't?
Because...
Like I say, I don't know. I haven't read the books. I know they got tired of waiting on George R.R. Martin to write the damn books.
Right.
So,
because he's got 2 books left.
Yeah.
And you can tell when they no longer had a book to follow, the pacing...
I did notice
started to go faster.
Yeah, I know from like the last 3 or 4 years anyway, the pacing's been different, so...
It's like, and we're going to be here, and we go boom, and everything's slow, and travel time actually equals travel time, and,
right.
It's not instantaneous travel, but then boom, instantaneous travel, and, like, we're jumping, like, 37, it's been 4 months later, and...
Let's wrap this shit up quick.
I
don't know. I mean, like I say,
I was trying to explain that to Don, and he was like, "Oh no, it was doing it." I said, "Yeah, but it was sloppy." To me, this whole season was, as writers, let's get it done.
Well, anytime what's a typical season for them? 8 to 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
Okay, and we've done it in just over half that. That seems to me like a hurry up. Let's get it done.
Right. Even though they were like,
I don't know,
the same. They put the same amount of stuff into them. They just made the episodes longer, so that it cut the count down.
Yeah.
So rather than having an hour-long show, you had an 80-minute show.
Yeah, and that, I mean, time-wise, it all works out. I guess, it all works out however it's got to work out.
But it does seem, it made it, I don't know, like I said, for me, it made it just seemed rushed and,
It's more the technical side of things that I think we took issue with than...
If you have to tell your fans that they did it wrong, then you did it wrong.
Right.
Well, if you just if you have your TV adjusted right, then you could have seen everything.
You spent $15 million frickin' dollars on everything but lighting. You're fired.
It's like if I bought something right out of the thing and hit the standard def or standard 4K standard whatever. I should be able to see it.
Right? Yeah.
I'm watching it on a 4K TV with a 4K source. I should see it. If it becomes black squares and whatnot, like pop up to where it's indicative of not enough light.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Then there's not enough light.
You're totally doing it wrong.
Apparently.
It's your fault. It's your fault. I don't, like I say, I didn't read the books.
Yeah,
I haven't
neither
read
did
the books or anything. I think that when you have almost overnight 1 million signatures, people asking you to redo it, you might want to consider the fact that you might have messed something up. Now, there have been some things, some aspects of it I looked at, I'm like, I could have been stoned and drunk and probably wrote a better ending for this character than this. But I wasn't asked, and I wouldn't really want to. I mean, it's just like you're not going to keep everybody happy.
No,
and so and you try to stand back and like, okay, I appreciate that. However,
keep the continuity.
Can we make it look like you at least made an effort? In something.
Was it like I had the issue with? So I'm sitting here. You've seen Grey Worm executing hostages, or whatever the people who gave up prisoners. Literally and John walks off and he just goes about his business of slitting everybody's throat. Mm-hmm. John, next time you see John walking through the thing and going up and Grey Worm teleported, from where he left him over here to up top of this Third Reich style platform.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's Continuity. Yeah.
It's like, okay, so it took him that long to walk from there up to see her, and Grey Worm already beat him there,
Right.
and still had like 16 guys to like slit the throats. Like, did he like?
Well, if we rip open a hole in space-time right here, then you can just
Right.
walk right through.
Because it didn't see it, they didn't show any passage of time. It was
Right.
like it seemed that was he left here to go talk to her,
Right.
and then Grey Worm beat him there. It's like, is there like 5 of them? Like, because I don't want to be like maybe there's twins or
Right.
whatever, and that's one guy that should have died too.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk about plot armor? The one guy who went out and they chopped off my girlfriend's head. I'm going to kill everybody. Dot, 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 dot. He should have died too. Not just sat there scowling because that leaves an enemy. Because he's mad at John. So
Well, and that's
leaves,
that's another thing. It's like if he's as dedicated to the Queen as he said he was. He just assassinated the Queen. How are you going to take this guy alive? No, seriously. How are you going
Right.
to take this guy alive and then allow the council or whatever you want to call them to, we'll pick your king or queen or whatever so they can decide that they're going to let this guy go? Because that's what's going to happen. Which is essentially what happened, because when you
Right.
have no Night's Watch or when you take the black because the wildlings are friendly now and you don't have any White Walkers, what's the point of it?
Well,
It's just
I mean,
an excuse to
'cause
allow him to go north of the wall and live out the rest of his days. That's all
and
it
that
is.
actually was addressed on the thing, because he's like, well, there is no Night's Watch, and then they said, he goes, well, there's always got to be a place for
Bastards
the
and
bastards and
unwanted.
the outcasts.
Yeah.
So there will always be a Night's Watch. There's always be a place that they send, like, well, you go up there and
Right.
take the oath. Okay.
Now that we, go up there through this kingdom that we no longer control, if they'll allow you to pass and go to Castle Black and, okay, that's...
And they didn't have a giant gaping hole when they walked through. They actually walked through the cave, not the highway that has been paved by a million dead people. Maybe the ice sculptors were out there, like, putting things back together while all the fight was going on down.
I don't know. It was an ending. It's over now. I'm not going to say they should reshoot it. I would be interested in seeing, what the actual ending that George R.R. Martin writes is. But,
Right.
like all book series compared to the TV shows, everything's different. I know a lot of stuff's different.
My favorite line was like, "Oh, did he treat me poorly?" And he's like, "You're not in it." He's just like, "Thunk," and moves it aside. But it was a funny nod to the original book that, because the book series is the song "Ice and Fire," and that's what the Maester actually titled it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of a funny little,
Yeah.
almost a fourth wall break
Right.
type.
I really enjoy it.
Now, if it was like Maester Martin was the one who wrote it, I'm going to have to go back and watch the horrible thing just to go to the small council thing to hear the name of the Maester who actually wrote the...
Well, let's be honest here. If you're going to watch any of it, the Small Council is the scene to watch, because that made the episode for me. I could watch another season of just them, talking about whether they should build brothels or, sewage treatment plants or whatever. I could watch a season of just that Small Council meeting.
Well, the Archmaester, the Headmaester, whatever his name, he's not too on the keen on the.
On brothels,
the cleanliness of brothels.
He says, "Well, he's like,
well, you're doing it wrong,
or you're not using them right, or something." I don't know. I appreciate the irony of the guy that didn't understand how loan repayment went, being the master of coin. Now, I really like that. I don't know. I got to that whole.
Oh, now he's got Highgarden? Is that what?
Yeah, well, that's what Jamie promised him was Highgarden. Because they took that, and I'm just glad he got his castle.
Right.
Because if this series ended and Braun didn't have his castle, I was going to be pissed.
Well, now he's, like, Lord.
Lord of lofty titles. Or what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for, I'd have liked seeing Sandor Clegane live, but except for him, what I required out of the ending happened.
Everybody's talking about.
Braun got his castle. That's all I cared about.
Everybody's like, and Arya goes off to find America.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw the meme with Gendry in a rowboat trying to go after her.
Come back. But now he's got his name. He's no longer a bastard.
Right.
And he's now Lord of
wherever
Storm End.
Yeah, Storm's End.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's got his place, and he's a. Like I said, they're all sitting around that little arc. Like, you got here fast,
right?
Oh, it's been weeks.
Yeah.
Didn't
now
know.
We know. Yeah, nobody said so. Yeah.
If you have to say it in dialogue, and because we can't tell, maybe we would have shot that differently.
Right. And, nobody's out on, what was it? The Dragon's Reach? What was the... Yeah, nobody's out there except for the guy from the mercenary company that was knocking boots with Daenerys before she left him at the... Or was he left at...
he was left in Marine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
nobody's at the Dragonstone or what have you, so maybe that's where Drogon took her back. And
they said that he just kept flying east.
Yeah.
And of course Arya just kept going west.
Yeah. I don't know. It was an ending. It fulfilled all the spoilers that HBO said weren't accurate that it was released.
I know, because I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I literally was doing a show and was like, okay, well, after the show, I'll go back and you had watched it, and I was like, okay, so were the spoilers right? And you're like, well, do you want to know? I was like, well, did this happen, this happen, this happen, this happen? He said, yes. Well, you pretty much watched the episode.
Yeah. HBO's liars. Oh, that's not accurate. Every damn thing.
Right.
Except, no, I take that back. There was one spoiler that was out that they said, and they made it, I don't know if they would have.
I don't know. It looked like they cut some stuff out of it because there was a lot of just cut to blacks, like fade down to black, that looked like it was the end of the show.
Well, what they said happened that didn't happen was that John was supposed to kill Dany, and then Grey Worm was supposed to mortally wound John upon discovering it, and that never happened. That's the only thing in that list of stuff that didn't happen.
Well, there was some spoilers that came out that said Tyrion was going to get killed, and then like later in the spoiler it said he was going to serve as a hand, and I was like, wait a minute, you can't have him. I mean, they got close. Yeah. But, he didn't catch on fire.
Right. I don't know. It's over now. So
the one thing that I saw more people post about from the episode than other than the complaining that it was that sucked. Yeah. Like I said, thank you. It could have been worse. You could have had 2 more seasons and it would have ended like The Lost.
Right.
I mean, or Dexter.
Yeah, he decided he wanted to be a lumberjack.
You're a serial killer guy that I know. Have my kid. I'm going to go be a lumberjack. Right. Let me take off in this boat into a hurricane.
That's why the meme that we saw where it was like, the fans are like, oh, this the first time your show's ended in a way you didn't like. Welcome to the fandom. Come with us.
But,
one of us.
One of us. One of us. I don't know where I was going with that because my brain tripped over to forget ending of Dexter. Surprise, motherfucker.
But no, it's over. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's like I say, it's the best you could hope for, I suppose, with this season of.
Oh, like everybody, what I was thinking was like everybody was asking, like the one question that I'd seen repeatedly is the full joke about him walking into a brothel with a honeycomb and a donkey.
Yeah.
Like, what's the end of that?
Yeah, I would actually like to know that.
Actually, I have it.
I bet it involves the phrase "sweet ass" somehow. I just imagine it's going to involve that.
Let me find it.
But a lot of people were upset with after the siege of Winterfell or the Battle of Winterfell about how he sent Tormund or he sent Ghost of Tormund and needed to hug him or whatever. So then of course in the last episode, he finally pets Ghost. So that assuaged a lot of people's.
And then they
ire.
walked off with him.
Yeah, all missing an ear and stuff.
Right. So here's Tyrion walks into a brothel with a honeycomb and a jackass. The madam, what can we do for you, Tyrion? I need a woman to lay with, for mine has left me. Madam, whatever for, and what's with the honeycomb and a mule? Tyrion, my woman found a genie in a bottle, and he granted her three wishes. First was a house fit for a queen, so he gave her this damn honeycomb. Second wish was that she have the nicest ass in all the land, so he gave her this damn donkey. And what about the third wish? Well, she asked the genie to make my cock hang down past my knee. Well, that ain't so bad, huh? Not so bad. I used to be 6'3".
Oh God! All right.
So that was the.
All right.
That was the punchline.
He's got a lot of debts to pay, and he's the last Lannister to pay him.
Right. And maybe he'll come up short.
Oh, boo. Boo.
I don't know.
Well, we're 2/3 the way into the fact that this is supposed to be the worst year for nerds.
Mm-hmm. People were complaining. I've been complaining about Endgame. Mm-hmm. People sure as hell been complaining about this.
Right. One more to go, and
Star
the
Wars
circle will be complete. We'll have the Trinity.
Like, okay, good God.
Yeah. I went and saw Endgame finally.
Yeah, what do you think?
I
didn't press it because you're like, I didn't like it, and then walked
I didn't
off.
like it, and I really don't know why. I don't know what it is. I still can't figure it out. But it was very unremarkable to me. I was like, I kind of felt like they took the easiest way.
Again, with the same with the
way
other.
that's the most convoluted to complete it, and I don't know. I wasn't. I'm like, oh, it's over. And that's been the running theme, I thought,
we're done.
I
do agree with
I've
the
seen
meme.
it, but as far as me wanting to go back in the theater and see, no, I don't really want to. I'll be a couple of years. I might watch it again when it hits Netflix or whatever.
Actually with Infinity War hit only a few months after, it left the theaters and then boom, it was on Netflix.
Yeah, I may watch it again, but it'll be a little while. I mean, I thought, well, maybe it's because because at one point I had to get up and run to the restroom, and I hate having to do that in the theater, especially when I thought I was prepared for it. And I missed about 10 minutes, but, it turns out that 10 minutes didn't really change anything, because I found out, it was just this. And I'm like, okay. I mean, that explains the whole Love You 3000 at the end of it, but other than that, I didn't, everybody said, well, it's very emotional laden, and, my ex-wife told me, she said, well, I cried like a baby. I'm like, really? Because it just didn't touch me. I don't know, and to me, that's a greater, tragedy than everybody that's complaining about about Game of Thrones. We had 11 years invested in this to build up and build up. Maybe it was a little bit of the hype. Maybe it's because I didn't see it opening weekend, and a couple of spoilers had made its way through. Maybe that's a contributing factor. I've thought that maybe it was because, at no point in any of it did it come anywhere close to, the whole Thanos and Lady Death thing. Maybe that's what it was. Even though the idea that he's doing all this to impress his girlfriend, or who he wants to be his girlfriend, is about as cheesy.
Right.
I was actually, the end of Endgame, I was like, I'm kind of sorry Thanos lost. I think he kind of had the right idea. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, when they find him, and he's just living in a hut, doing his thing.
He's like, well, completed what I wanted to do. That's it.
Like, see this world? It's nice.
Yeah. I did think it was funny that Thor cut his head right off. I went for the head. I'm like, well, yeah, you learned your lesson. That's what lesson did we learn, kids? Go for the head. I'm excited that now there's a Thor that I can cosplay. I am kind of excited about that. My new pickup line is I got the body of a Norse god.
Yeah, you come walking out looking like
it'll be just as effective as any other pickup line I got. But
though did you catch the dude references?
Yes,
in
Lebowski. He's like he carpet that tied the room together. Yeah, that's great.
Well, I mean, he came walking out. He had the robe on, fucking big belly. The hair was kind of in the big bushy beard. It was like sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Like, do you want a Caucasian? I mean,
here you go.
A white Russian.
Yeah.
Here.
I think Banner would have been upset with that.
You mean Smart Hulk?
Yeah, whatever you want to call him. I knew they were going to get to that point. I didn't realize.
I mean, they've done it in the comics before.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that was going to be like the hook for Endgame.
No, I didn't either. I mean, I figured at some point you would have that, and I'm glad they at least got to it. Might have done that in another movie, if they'd done another Incredible Hulk movie or something before Endgame, so they prepared everybody, because I think people were real prepared for that. So I don't know. I mean,
I don't know the Hulk and the Ant-Man thing they're sitting at the thing and like, you want his autograph? And and he's like, no, they don't want my autograph. I thought that was actually I was kind of chuckling. He's like, no, seriously, like this is Ant-Man.
Well, that's actually the scene that I missed. It's like I was running to the bathroom and then I heard Banner, and I was like, oh God, and I turned around in time to see him in his little spectacles, and I'm like, really? No, this is what I wanted to see. Off I went. About 10 minutes later, come back. I'm like, okay, well.
Well, there's that.
Yeah.
But the whole time travel thing,
So it's not based on Back to the Future? Back to the Future is all bullshit? Yeah.
Though it was funny that, like, you come back, like, they're doing the experiments, and Banner's over there, and comes back like a baby in the helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
Somebody pooped my pants, and I don't know who it was. Whether it was young me, old me, or me, just now. Yeah, that's funny.
I mean, it had its moments, and then the other moments is just like, I mean, to me, it's just,
yeah, I mean,
when you realize that Howard the Duck made an appearance again.
What did he?
Yeah,
I don't think I seen it.
When all of the stuff.
There was too much
going.
Yeah, there was too much going on for me to keep track of everything.
As it was sliding past the thing, you've seen him come running out.
Okay, I'm still trying to figure out where they came from. Like, oh well, we were gone, and then okay, so how'd they get there?
Well, they unsnapped the thing, and that's when everybody reappeared. So.
Okay, yeah. Like I say, I probably ought to watch it one more time just for some things.
Because that was the thing. Because when they unsnapped then everybody started to show back up, and that's when Strange and all the other sorcerers started opening portals to to bring everybody to fight.
Because at first I was like, how'd they get the multiverse into this? I thought it was a multiverse thing, but you're right. Yeah. Okay.
You know, Hulk and his puny arm now.
Oh, yeah.
Because he made the snap to...
That's right, yeah.
And then it was the final snap that ended... That actually kind of was a spoiler. Like, that had... Before it all came out, before they even had the movie, that Stark was going to do it because it signaled that was the hand that he had always had problems with that arm.
Right.
And that was them signaling he was going to eventually lose. They said he was going to lose the arm.
Yeah. But
you got to figure that's the easiest way to let people out of their contract.
Right.
Because no more Iron Man films. He wasn't going to be Iron Man after this. Cap was what's his name wasn't going to play Captain America anymore. Mm-hmm. Like they had fulfilled their long contracts with Marvel, so they weren't coming back. They learned that lesson when we need to re-sign Robert Downey Jr. for more films, and it's going to cost us like a couple $1 million more.
Right.
Let's just sign everybody for like 10 things, and if we don't do 10 films, great.
Right.
But that allows them. We don't have to renegotiate for and have the issues like the Superman thing in Shazam.
Yeah.
You know, they don't
Cavill.
If he was signed to this, we can just make it one of the cameos.
Right. Instead, we'll just show the chest and not the face, which was neat. That was an okay movie. I mean, it was all right.
I didn't make it in time to. I watched part of it.
Yeah, it was all right.
I laughed from what I saw.
Yeah. But, going back to Game of Thrones, there was one thing that I don't know how many people picked up on it when, and I assume a few people did at least, when they were talking to Bran, and they told him we know you don't want it, but would you take it? He goes, well, why do you think I'm here? It's like, here's the history and future, all rolled into one. So, yeah, you knew exactly how it was going to turn.
Or,
the potential for evil that's there is astronomical.
Or the fact that, everybody was saying, he's, oh, no, he, totally worked into Drogon and this, that, and the other. That's why you never really saw Dany in those shots. There was all the dragon coming in and whatever. She was just hanging on. Mm-hmm. And, he'd worked in and fired up, bombed the whole thing. And
yeah, I don't know.
Well, he's going to work into the dragon anyway.
Right.
I'll go look for him.
Let me see if I can find him. Right. Bran the Builder.
Can we do it? Yes, we can.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a rough year. We'll see how Star Wars turns out.
It's gonna be a rough year for HBO.
Well, no kidding, because like we talked before, once the Deadwood movie comes out, we're done. Our subscriptions ended. I want to know I wonder if they've got. I bet the end of this month, because most people keep it till the end of the month. Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting to see the subscription fall off between this month and next month.
I bet it's sharp.
Probably.
I mean, because they don't have anything to follow up with it right now. I mean, the closest thing, I started watching that Barry. I don't know why.
Right.
It was just on. I was like, yeah, whatever. And that one's about an ex-military sniper who came home and his unscrupulous uncle got him into being an assassin.
Okay.
And then as he's like trying to figure out what he's wanting to do, and just basically shooting people around the world and barely making enough to money because the uncle is fucking taking all the money.
Right.
He goes to Hollywood to do a job, and then ends up taking an acting class and really gets into it. And
Okay.
it's got like Henry Winkler in it.
Yeah. I've seen previews or what have you for that. The thing of it is they're reaching. When I saw a list that was put out, it's like, oh well, now that Game of Thrones is over, what else might you like? Where's the suggestion is, and one of them was like Pretty Little Liars. They're like, and here's why you might like it, because I'm like, no. What? We're reaching. Here we go. Let's reach.
You might like us because we get movies.
Yeah. Like, man. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody was like, "Oh, I hadn't caught up," so I gave them access to the on-demand thing. I was like, "You have until the 31st." Well, you have until the 1st.
Yeah.
Because I'm watching the Deadwood movie. But as soon as that's done, he was like, "Well, I'll catch up and watch the whole this whole season and in the Deadwood movie, and then you can." Because I'm canceling that bitch. Done. No
Right.
more. And I don't think I'm coming back for the prequel.
The prequel.
Yeah, they've already started filming the Game of Thrones prequel. It's like 500 years before.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
Or 5,000 years before, or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it was with the Children of the Forest and the First Men.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you know how it's going to end.
Right.
So what's the point?
They make the Night King.
Right.
Maybe if they do it right, we can actually get the Night King being an actual
character that speaks
or a
and
badass,
does something that other than stand there and have the worst King's Guard you've ever seen in your life.
Right. Did you see the logistics or whatever that they mapped out for her to be able to make that attack? Like she would have had to like jump from back here all the way over everybody, like pole vaulting. That's why you started to see the memes of the wizard circle thing behind her. It's like she just popped out of it. Ah.
Yeah, because I seen one of those like she was going to jump on the back of Thanos.
That would have been funny.
Yeah. I'm a little upset that she didn't scare anybody by taking the Night King's face. Of course, he turned to an ice block and cracked, but it would have been funny. It would have been
so better, like if up there she's doing her big speech and she looks at Grey Worm and whatever, and then goes to walk off, and then like it's fucking Arya.
Yeah.
Like that would have been better.
Well, if Arya had killed her, then she could have just put her face on and be like, okay, well, we're done. We're going to go do all this. And she took off. And nobody been any of the wiser. Mm-hmm. Nobody had known. Just like if Grey Worm had got on the boat, left, here's Jon going to the north to take the Black. Is he gone? Yeah, he's gone. Okay, cool. You can stay. Because, I mean,
Or if Grey Worm, if he really that way, like, oh, he's going off to the north. Okay,
right.
It's not like he hasn't been there.
Right. I don't know.
Heather actually sat and watched the very end with me. Like she came in and like.
I'm
sorry. She was
like
mesmerized.
Well, I'm
like,
sorry they didn't talk about dwarf penis then,
right?
Because that's the only time she shows up.
Like literally, this is like the only time that she's walked in, and it's actually telling a story and not something to do with dwarf cock. Right. That's why she just like when it comes to that, she just like rolls her eyes and walks out of the room. Yeah. But I was like, oh, she's like, well, I already know how it ends. And then I was like, okay, so you're not going to watch the entire...
Which is the whole reason that she done it. I'd be like, get your ass out of here. You're always going to wonder.
I don't care. Now, I throw those things in because she was like, do you get your game ideas from this show? I was like, if I did, you'd all be dead.
Right.
I got interesting world ideas
Right.
for stuff that we haven't done yet, like the whole order on the wall type thing. Like the black. Like the original, because it was like their best people at first that went up there to defend.
Right.
And then it became okay. There is no real.
Nobody wants to do this. Let's send all the shitbags we don't want.
Right. Like, we can cut your hand off for theft, or we can send you to the black. Make you take the black.
Yeah. But if you run from the black, then we're going to cut your head off.
Right.
With a ridiculously huge greatsword.
That got cut into 2 swords.
Yeah. That both wound up defending Winterfell.
Mm-hmm. But, so yeah, so she's watching all this stuff, and I'm just sitting here going, yeah. Again, train of thought derailed.
Right. So, the point is, it's over.
Yeah.
That's... Any speculation for Star Wars?
Well, giving 2 out of 3 so far, it'll probably be a flat year. I'm going. I think they're going to pull the hat trick, and everybody will be disappointed. You'll still have the fanboy people saying, "Oh no, it was fine, it was okay."
Yeah.
I would laugh if there's another couple million signatures on a petition to make them remake the last 3 movies.
Yeah. At least it's over.
We don't have to worry about it anymore.
Right. I may get a wild hair and read the book. I'm not going to read the entire series of books, but I may read the last book, or just ask somebody that's read the last book. That's probably what's going to happen because I don't.
Well, you got to remember, there's
a lot of stuff's different.
The people, places, and whatnot that aren't in the books that are in the movies but there are people that aren't in the movies that are in the books, and the lady, the gray lady or whatever is supposed to be Catelyn or whatever her name, Stark, like come back. Like there's a whole section with her and like her seeking revenge for the death of her kids, and
I don't know.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that they kind of that would have been really interesting to see that. Yeah, I would have been really interested to see freaking Ned get up out of the thing with his head and like
in the crypt.
In the crypt. That would have been
cool.
Things did come out. They started running around. People, I was like, yes, do it. They didn't do it.
Well, we were kind of hoping that Cersei'd be eaten from the inside out. Too,
that would totally. That was like I told Don. I said we totally. He's like, well, you write a movie. I said I already at the beginning of this season.
This is how I want her to die.
This is how I laid it out how she should go, and everybody thought it was amazing. I said it would have been a good lead up to Battle of Winterfell. They got knocked back, and they fell back, defended at the King's Landing. Mm-hmm. Cersei does her thing, whatever. We find out that her baby is dead, and
it's stillborn or what have you, without actually being born.
Right, and
the Night King raises everything, and then she gets chewed from the inside out.
Yes, that would have been a perfect way for her, killed by her own family.
Right.
It was her kid that did it.
Yep. She'd do anything for her children. Would she be dinner?
Yeah. See, that would have been a way better series for this season. It would have made the Night King seem
like a badass.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I don't know what you.
Meh.
Yeah.
Now, if it fought all that way, and then Arya did the thing, did the jump at the last minute at the King's Landing, and did the still happy that hey, look, Arya killed the night. Yeah,
that's fine. I want this to happen first.
I want all of this.
I want him to seem like he has a point.
Right. rather than be like, oh, we're building up this thing and
Nothing. Yeah.
A whole lot of stuff to waste on, like a sideline thing that doesn't pan out.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna go into side stuff, you should at least
have resolution.
Something that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it was a pretty big side plot.
Right.
You should give it a pretty big, like...
Give it some payoff.
If there was like 15 side plots going on, you could give us one episode per side plot as a resolution or whatever. I mean, that would be... But don't be like, oh, well, everybody died.
Right.
Well, all it would have took if they were fighting whatever is a dragon glass arrow to the face, and old boy would have been...
Right.
Taken care of.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Right. But we can say this confidently. We don't require counseling for it.
No.
It was just a show. I don't require counseling for it. Apparently that shit's available. If you require counseling for a TV show, you probably needed it before.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
I am looking for a new show to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about all it really, okay.
Well, and the reason I started watching Game of Thrones is you and I had an agreement here, 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I was watching Vikings and you were watching Game of Thrones. I said, or which one of us was it? You said...
Well, I said something about, well, you should watch Game of Thrones, and you're like, well, you should watch Vikings.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
One or the other of us said, you watch that and I'll watch this, and that's what we've done. Mm-hmm. And I know I held up my end of the bargain before you held up yours. Because you had, I started, and then you got like, I just couldn't get past it. And you...
I finally did. I got past it, and I watched them all.
I'm just going to say this. Vikings didn't hurry through anything.
No, it didn't.
It might have left you been like, what the hell did I just watch? What? But you didn't feel anything was rushed.
Right. And like this whole last season, it was, they teleport.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we just defeated everybody at Winterfell and teleport down to the... Like, there were no conflicts on the march to King's Landing. There's no skirmishes. Right. There was no nothing. Like, you just magically all encamped outside of King's Landing.
Right.
Like, we're here.
And before they killed Me Sunday, and because of that meme, that's how I remember her name, because it showed the Sunday on the ground and Grey Worm like, Me Sunday. That's how I remember her name. But before they killed her, that scene outside the gates, the dragon's on the ground, and you've got those scorpions, I think is what they call them, along the wall, pointed at the dragon. Fire! No, I'm serious.
Right?
You got how many out there? There might have been.
I think the thing was like just out of range.
100 or 200.
Supposedly just out of range.
Well, shit.
Even though they were firing like while it was way higher in the sky.
Like, it's on the ground. It's not moving.
Right. It can't dodge.
4 of them at least 4 of them had shots. I'm going to tell you right now what had happened if it was me. Fire.
And take her head off. Go. And everybody's worried about that.
Yeah. These 4 fire at the dragon. The rest of them fire into the ranks. Dealt with.
Right.
Just saying. Holes. Drive the truck right through the hole. I mean, you got to follow logical progression.
All of that money spent on the Golden Army, and they went out like bitches.
Oh, God, that was great. I do wonder if the Iron Bank wants its money back, though.
Well, she died, so...
Right, but they would forgive it to her, but, since there's still a kingdom, now does it fall to Bran?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. If you conquer a kingdom, do you pick up their war debt?
Well,
or you just say you backed the wrong party.
that's what I would say. I was just asking whether the Iron Bank had won it back because
Go talk to that little guy.
Right. I'll build a wall. They can't get in with their ships. Can't ask for the money. We're going to build a wall, and the Iron Bank's going to pay for it.
On that note, it is time for us to
You
go.
said it crept into every one of them, so there's that one little creep in that I'll give you.
All right. So yes, this was our spoiler laden show. We've kind of held off on the past shows about being this whatever, but you know what? I think we put enough warnings out there. So if you're like, "Whoa, thanks for ruining it," like it literally says spoilers
Right.
in the title of the show. So,
And if you've made it this far and you're upset by the spoilers, I don't know what to tell you.
right.
You follow somebody else because I don't need that.
But anywho, we will see you next time. I'm Topher.
Little Sonny.
See ya.
Good night.